Hi, everyone, and welcome into the Ladies' Lunch Break. I'm your host, Crystal Fry, a woman's best friend. Today, we are going to talk about worth. And I'm posing two very important questions. One, do you see your own worth? And two, do you see the worth of others? So those are our two questions for the day. That is what we're going to be talking about today during this live. That's what our focus is going to be on, is the ability to see your worth and see the worth of others. So thank you for joining me as you are coming on. We are streaming live both on Facebook and also on YouTube. So as you come in, make sure that you say hello, so that I can say hello back and pop your comments on up on the screen as we go through this conversation, this discussion together. So we're talking about worth. And one of the things that I really want to bring to your attention is the difference between value and worth. Those two things often get interchanged. Those two words often get mixed up together. They're used interchangeably. And depending on how you're using them, you can actually use them, mix them together in a sentence and come out with the appropriate meaning with what you're meaning to say. But they do actually have different definitions. And so value is used in the sense of importance. So how important something is, that is what gives it its value, right? That's how we measure value, is how important something is. On the other hand, worth is used in the sense of either the cost of production of a thing, right? How much something costs to produce, or it's in the greatness of a person. And that's the how we're going to be talking about it today. How we're talking about that worth. We're talking about the worth of a person, not the worth of a thing. So as you're looking at the, kind of how we use worth and how we define worth and how it is that measure of greatness of a person, let's define greatness. That's also a term that, we use it. I think a lot of our English language has gotten, the meanings I think have gotten lost or watered down, or just kind of as we have developed as a civilization, words have new meanings, I'm thinking of a whole bunch of them right now that are probably not appropriate for this broadcast, but what you say one thing and it doesn't really mean that thing, you spell it differently and it means something completely different, anyway. So true greatness is the ability to achieve what you choose to achieve in the area you choose to achieve it, and to achieve it with excellence and a level of mastery. Now, I'm going to read that again because I think it's really important that we have an understanding. I like to define words because, like I just said, I think a lot of times the words that we use get lost in translation because we ourselves don't really understand what purpose we are really putting behind them. So true greatness is the ability to achieve what you choose to achieve. Anyone who's listened to me before knows that I'm all about choice. In the area that you choose to achieve it, and you achieve it with excellence and a level of mastery. So when you're looking at the greatness of a person, and how that mixes in with the worth of a person, and really more importantly, the worth of yourself. Because quite frankly, and I'm just going to be really honest with you here, if you're unable to see the worth in other people, I will bet you that you also struggle to see the worth within yourself. So much of what we do, of how we feel, of how we respond to people, our reactions, all of that stems from within us. Now, you may not be in a place in your life where you are familiar with that process. You may not be in a place where it's comfortable for you to have that dialogue with yourself and understanding that you're responsible for all of your own choices, whether you make them consciously or unconsciously, they're still yours. You may not be in that level of comfort yet, and that's okay. That's perfectly okay. But I will say that if you struggle to see the worth, even the value in another person, there's a good chance that you may struggle to see it within yourself. You may struggle to recognize it within yourself. And so as we're talking about, the context of worth being the greatness of a person, I'm not talking about like, oh, they're great because they've amassed a fortune. They're great because, they have this huge success. That's not necessarily the definition of greatness. Greatness can be quiet. Greatness doesn't always have to be loud and showy, and it makes me think of a peacock. Big, huge feathers, right? A male peacock, because females don't do that. But, big, huge feathers, and they're so beautiful, and they scream, look at me, look at me, look at me. That is not always how greatness presents itself. Sometimes greatness presents itself quietly. It presents itself in ways that the public doesn't always see, because greatness doesn't always require attention. Recognition and attention are two different things. I know that's, again, it's like a value and worth. They're close, they're similar. Sometimes people interchange them, and you can even use them to kind of get your point across. But they are separate. They are different. So, your true greatness is when you are fully utilizing the gifts you've been given and actualizing and fulfilling your unique purpose. So when you're looking at your worth, when you're looking at your own worth, and I posed the question earlier, 2 questions today. 1, do you see your own worth? Do you recognize your own worth? And then 2, do you recognize the worth of others? Do you see the worth of others? So as you're looking at yourself, do you recognize your own worth? Do you see your own greatness, the greatness that is within you? And my friends, there is greatness within each and every one of us. We are all called to a specific purpose. We are created for a specific purpose. Some of us realize it and we go after it and we fulfill that purpose, and some of us don't. It's the beauty of free choice. But as you're looking at your own worth and seeing whether or not you can actually see and understand your own greatness, see everything that you are capable of, if the answer to that question is no, I'm going to advise you to keep looking. Because, like I said earlier, when you can't see the worth in others, it's likely you can't see the worth in yourself. Well, if you can't recognize all of the things that you are capable of, I ask you to keep looking. Dig deeper. Maybe there's work that needs to be done. Listen, I've been on my own personal self-discovery journey. It was not pretty. It was quite ugly at times. But through that process, I found my greatness. I know my worth. I also know my value, but I know my worth. So if you're struggling to find yours, dig a little deeper. Let me know if you need help with that. You can send me a direct message. You can drop it in the comments here. Let me know if you need help with that. I can help you with that. And so my second question for today was, what about the worth of others? Can you see the worth of others? Do you recognize the worth, the greatness within another person? If for any of my folks who are parents, especially my moms, this question is probably a no-brainer if you take it and think about your kids. Mommies have an incredible ability to look at our children, even as they are, filthy-faced because, whatever they're still eating with their fingers. Oh, he's so cute, right? We are able to see the worth, the greatness within our children. And as they get older and as they become their own people, as they, are growing into their own individual lives and everything else, and then once they reach adulthood, you're able to really see what's inside of them, especially as it starts to come to fruition before your eyes. I know I've had a couple of moments with my kids, well, more than a couple, but where they've done something and I've looked at them and I've been like, man, I knew that was inside you all the time. I knew it was there. Man, how awesome it is to see it. Do you see that in other people? Do you see that in your partner? Do you see that in your colleague? Do you see that in a family member? Do you see that in the person who has meaning to your life, that maybe they don't see their own greatness? Maybe they don't see their own worth. Do you see it? Because if you can see it within them, maybe you can help them to see it within themselves. So those are our 2 questions for today, all about worth. Remembering that value and worth are 2 separate things, but making sure that you can see your own worth and that you can also see the worth of others. Very, very important things, especially in this crazy time that we are currently finding ourselves in. Being able to look at another person, being able to look at another human being and see their worth and know that they are worthy just as you are, something I think we should do more of. So that's what I've got for you today. Thank you so much for joining, everyone who jumped on live, and for those who are watching in the replay. Make sure that you hit the like and share, and also if you're over on YouTube, hit that and the little bell so that you get the notifications of when we go live. And I will see you all next time. I am Crystal Fry, a woman's best friend, teaching women to see themselves, love themselves, and transform into themselves, into the women they were created to be. I hope you guys all have a great week. I will see you again very soon. Take care.